Hey there, Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to What's She Up To Now, day 1648, documenting the journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business and back and forth. From 2020 on, back and forth, tipping my toe back into the real world of business, which irritates my online friends because I call it the real world of business, just because it's a little different. I am to the point where I believe every offline business should have an online presence, but it doesn't mean every online business is the same as an offline business. They're totally different. There's things that work in all businesses. There's things that work in no businesses. There's things that work in offline businesses that don't work online, and there's things that work online that don't work offline. That's just the nature of the beast, the nature of the world, the nature of industry and business, etc. So today for content, our topic for the annual challenge this month is contribution. Contribution is how we show up in the world. How do we make the world a better place? Because I will contend that all of us are here to be ourselves and make the world a better place. By the way, being ourselves is the quickest, easiest, fastest way to make the world a better place, because we're doing things that feel good to us and right to us, and if they feel good to us, that means we're putting more good, more positivity into the world, and putting more positivity into the world makes the world a better place automatically. We don't even have to try hard to do that, right? Now, if you're a grumpy curmudgeon and a negative person, you're not making the world a better place. Sorry, newsflash, but you're not. You're adding negativity to the world. If you're adding negativity to the world, if you're bitching, moaning, complaining, judging, or doing things that are wrong by most people's standards and probably your own as well, then you're not making the world a better place, and that is not contribution. I guess contribution can be positive or negative. We are either making the world a better place or we're not, right? It's kind of like personal development or lifelong learning or continuous improvement. If you're not improving or on that upward spiral, even if you're just staying the same, the world is changing, so you're actually deteriorating. You're not getting better. That's why I love this annual challenge, and I'm so grateful that I know that I don't have to do giant things every day. Some days I'll do big things. Other days I'll do small things. But the small things compounded over a year have a huge impact and make a huge difference in my life. And I don't have to try super duper hard. I don't have to put aside 3 hours a day to do something. I can do it in a couple of minutes, and sometimes just a couple of seconds. Sometimes just thinking throughout the day about a topic will make me feel better, which means I'm putting more positive energy into the world. So today our idiom for supersize your business was to give a blank check. And I shared some stories about that. And nowadays we need to keep in mind that we might not be physically giving people a blank check, but when we're signing up for auto payment programs and things, we are giving people a blank check. Different utilities, different businesses, different companies, different subscriptions. Every month they get to take money out of our account. And guess what? Sometimes they make a mistake. I've been with a company for, I think, 4 or 5 years now. 5 years now. And last month, I just happened to look at my bank statement. I don't usually because of my vision. And I found that I had, it was only a $97 charge, but it was a $97 charge that was just a mistake. Now, that company is a $1 billion company. They were not going to find that mistake. And guess what? $97 doesn't mean the difference between life and death to me. It certainly isn't even a drop of, it's not even a cell in a drop of water to them. So it doesn't matter to them, but it matters to me. And sometimes in my life, $97 is the difference between eating and not eating, right? Not now, but in the past it has been. So we need to keep an eye on those things. I got a $68,000 electric bill one month for one of my businesses that was set up for auto withdrawal. And luckily, I just happened to get the mail that day. I think the universe watches out for me because I don't get the mail every day, and I just happened to go get it that day and open the bill, and it said that. So I had time to call and say, can we stop and hold the phone and take a look at this? This is obviously a huge mistake. Because I think my electric bill back then for that business was maybe $2,000 to $4,000 a month. It certainly was never $68,000, right? I'm not sure what size company you would have to have that would use $68,000 a month of electric. Probably a pretty big company, right? You know, our houses are a couple $100 a month, even with our big houses. So little houses, it's different, but it's definitely not $68,000. I still get choked up when I think about that. So today, give a blank check. Have you ever given a blank check? Has anyone ever given you a blank check? And that means, of course, to give you unlimited freedom, complete freedom, unrestricted freedom, complete authority to action, or a free hand. And sometimes that happens in our businesses. Sometimes, sometimes sales. And I worked for a company in corporate America that gave a free hand to the sales department. The sales department could do whatever, say whatever, and offer whatever they wanted, even if we technologically could not produce and make their promises come true. They would promise everything. And it got us into a lot of trouble that I, as quality director, had to help try to unravel. And it just meant that we gave hundreds of thousands of dollars a month back to businesses in the forms of credits. And I didn't think that was a great way to do business, and did the best I could to encourage that business to change, but ended up leaving that company because I just didn't agree with the way they believed they should do business. And they were doing it because they wanted to grow fast, but they were over-promising and under-delivering, and that goes against one of my core values. So I did not stay there very long. I think 3 to 5 years I was there, and I'm like, this isn't going right, so I will see later. And then it turns out that company actually closed, I think, 15 of their locations. And so it was a good decision on my part, but I felt bad because I loved the owners of that company. Super nice, super smart guys. So have you ever given or have you ever received a blank check? Sometimes in our families, one sibling or another will have a blank check. And I'm not going to say anything more about that. So our topic for our annual challenge today with respect to contribution was to create a contribution personal development plan. And again, this is another thing I learned in corporate America that I applied to my life and raising my kids and everything else, is that we have things we want to work on, which is really goal setting, but then breaking it down into bite-sized pieces so we can actually take action and accomplish it. So I shared that my contribution personal development plan for this area and aspect of my life is going to be, number one, set a big, hairy, audacious goal. What's my long-term, super long-term goal for the area of contribution in my life? What is, and I've already got that and I shared that in the group. What is my short-term contribution goal? And that's my goal for between now and the end of the year, because it's less than a year. To me, short-term is less than a year, longer term is over a year, and big, hairy, audacious goals or legacy goals are, 5, 10, 20-year goals. But I always take those and break those down into little bite-sized pieces. Well, with this big, hairy, audacious goal, what do I need to do this year to accomplish that? And I break that down by not only year, but then I find, well, what steps can I take monthly, weekly, daily to make sure that I achieve those goals and objectives. And then finally, what's my daily show up goal that I can take action on, that I can automate, that will help to feed that goal, that short-term goal at the end of the year, and that big, hairy, audacious goal. And that's going to be my contribution personal development plan. And I'll do that today. I'll create that today, just like everybody else in the group creates their action item and does their action item today, because we're all working to make the world a better place by being ourselves. So for me, this is something that feels good to me to do. If it was something, and each of us have to pick what feels right for us to do in this area. And like I said in the group, maybe contribution is an area of your life that you just don't even have the time or energy to work on because other life areas are causing and taking more attention. Maybe you've got a physical illness or an emotional or trauma going on in your life, or maybe someone in your family is sick, whatever. Or maybe your family, or maybe your finances have been totally devastated by COVID, and you need to shift and make massive changes in other areas of your life. And contribution is one that you're like, I don't even have time to think about that. So then I recommend just being yourself and improving yourself and focusing on positive things and positive energy and being present, focusing on the now, and what can I do? What can I do to feel better? And if I'm doing something to feel better in other areas and aspects of my life, if I'm being myself, I'm setting the example for other people. And that's actually the best thing we can always do when it comes to contribution and making the world a better place, is being ourselves and being accepted for that, And also, guess what? If you accept yourself and love yourself for who you are and show up in the world like that, not only does that give other people permission to do the same, but also opens you up to accept and love other people for who they are and not expect them to be different than they are, and realize that all of us are on our own journey to figure out life, right? We all are. And you know, some people are further along than others on their journey, depending on what the lessons are that they want to learn in this life. So I know I'm getting woo-woo, but that was our topic is our topic for today. Again, took that from corporate America, where it usually focused on the negatives, flipped that on its head like I did for feedback, and made it, instead of being a negative thing, a positive thing, focusing on the positive. Learned a long time ago, if we focus on what we're good at and our strengths, life is a lot more fun. We have a much bigger impact, and that makes the world a better place as well. So even if you just decide that you're going to focus on your strengths and continue to develop them, maybe you love art and you've never developed art, and so you decide that the way you're going to make the world a better place is to explore that area and aspect of yourself. That would be an example of a personal development plan for contribution. All right. I got lots going on, so obviously I'm talking fast. If I can help you anyway, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.